Live from Julian's basement, it's Podcadzo. You give us an hour, and we'll give you the world. The world consisting primarily of YouTube references and Steely Dan trivia.
I just love that podcast.
It's podcadzo.
Welcome back to Podcadzo, everybody. The official companion podcast to the well-known independent rock band Cadzo. This is part 2 of our
part deux.
Very special top albums of the 2010s episode. If you missed part 1, please go and listen to that right now. It came out last week, where we went through albums 15 through 8. Well, actually, a bit clumsy there because we only hit Connor's number 8. So that was 15 through Connor's 8.
We left on a cliffhanger. We left on a cliffhanger for everybody else's number 8.
With Julian's number 8, then my number 8, and then we're gonna get right into number 7.
Should we all go through our 15 through? Well, I could recap my 15 through 8, and then you guys all recap your 15 through 9.
No. You know what? So you don't have to listen to last week's episode. Let's just do a quick recap.
No. Let me get my vitals stacked again. Oh,
Connor, organize that. All right. No, I'm fine with it being 8. And you don't get to hear 15 through 8 for Connor and 15 through 9.
You got to go listen to the. You got to go listen to
all 2 hours and 15 minutes or whatever that's going to end up being.
Yeah. Which, if you love us, you will.
If you listen to it at 2x, it's only like an hour, right?
Yeah.
I hope everyone listens to every episode at 2x.
It's definitely the move.
I'm a single speed guy.
Makes all the dead air seem like not that big a deal.
We don't have any dead air.
Like that dead air right there.
What dead air?
How's that for dead air, pal? I got some dead air
That's
for
why
you.
Connor's a professional.
All right.
All right. Well, without further ado, Julian, let's get into your number 8.
Number 8 for me. All right.
I'm going to casually leave the room, but I'm still listening.
This is probably...
Listening to. I'm listening.
Are you going to leave also?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you want to?
No.
You could.
No, I was going to say I'm also listening, but I'm not leaving the room.
Oh, great. Thank you for the affirmation. I actually really appreciate that. You can see I got super insecure there. So number 8 for me is a girl artist, a woman.
Yeah, a girl, huh?
It's probably, I think, the latest as far as timeline. It came out in like 2019. And I don't really like any of her other albums, but this one album is like
shocker,
so good that it like formed me in a lot of ways in the 2019 era when I was like really starting to like be a young adult and like figure out what the fuck I wanted and like what I represented. And this album just like meant a lot to me because it was also, I think, kind of like a reflection back for the artist. The album is Remind Me Tomorrow, and it's by Sharon Van Etten. And it's essentially just like it's kind of like her weird album where like it's less like traditional singer-songwriter, like acoustic folk indie stuff, and it's more like full band, like synthesizers and a lot of post-production stuff added to it. And it's just a really good mix of being like emotionally vulnerable while also like, being like kind of upbeat and like exciting and eclectic as a listen. And it's just great. Me and my friends also like really spent a lot of time kind of like worshiping this record. It was one of the like main influences that I think we all shared when we were like starting to write like our first album like back in the day. So I think it like really concreted like a lot of stuff that we had thought that we kind of wanted to do that we weren't sure that we could like pull it off, and then she pulled it off so easily that it kind of gave us like a false confidence to try some stuff as far as like being more ambient and creating like soundscapes and whatnot, and just like kind of discarding expectation and just doing whatever the fuck you want to do. So it's a great album. Highly recommend anyone listens to that, and not really necessarily any other Sharon Van Etten, because like I said, I don't like love all of her stuff, but I will definitely like stand by this record because it's just so fucking good and original and creative. So yeah.
She's one of my favorite girl artists.
She is definitely a
I
girl.
love Sharon Van Etten.
I saw her for like 15 minutes once because we accidentally were like 2 hours late to the show, but we still were there. So
was she headlining?
Yeah, it was like her show, and we just thought that it was gonna start later than it did, but it started like pretty early, so we just like missed the whole thing.
You damn fools! That's crazy.
I know. It's the only time that's ever happened.
I doubt it.
Well,
my number 8 is it this? Oh no, we had crossover on Kendrick Lamar. I was gonna say this might be the first time we've had crossover, but just on artists, not on albums. A Different Kind of Fix by Bombay Bicycle Club.
Nice.
This album was, I guess, actually kind of similar to your Sharon Van Etten thing. Around the time I first started writing music, and members of my band back then, we were obsessed with this album. I went on a big road trip, and we basically listened to this album the entire drive from Colorado all the way to the Outer Banks in the Carolinas. So yeah, drove across the country listening to this album. Still, just a very foundational record for me. Amazing songwriting. Holds a very special place in my heart. And yeah, undoubtedly my favorite Bombay Bicycle Club album.
Yeah.
The one that actually got me into Bombay Bicycle Club, I probably listened to the first album. I had the blues, but I shook them off more than this, but
yeah,
I'd still say a different kind of. I think I just kind of listened to this too much. Now it's like to go back to it just feels a little bit basic, but yeah, it was hugely important to me back in the 2010s.
It's kind of interesting, like how much more I had the blues, but I shook them loose now than I did like 10 years ago. Like out of all the Bombay records, that's really the one where I like get the most excited listening to it. And yeah, part of that is definitely because like I didn't necessarily beat A Different Kind of Fix into the ground, but I did like it a lot. I beat all their other records like into the ground, except for My Big Day. I just never really connected with that record a lot, but everything before that.
It took me a minute, but I love My Big Day now.
I mean, I like it,
but that one took me a minute.
I mean, when Everything Else Has Gone Wrong came out, it was like by far the most listened to thing of that year for me. Like I was listening to that shit like once or twice a day, probably for like months in a row. So yeah, everything just kind of got beat down for me. But then yeah, I Have the Blues is just like so fun to listen to still. So it's interesting that we kind of share that in common.
But A Different Kind of Fix, it was like, that's an album that came out around the time when I was like forming my identity as like an indie kid too. So like
yeah,
Bombay Bicycle Club was important for that, like kind of a band that I like very much identified with, and
they always just
like
took
basing
their
part of my personality off.
They always just took their sound like so much more like seriously than other indie bands at the time. I feel like everything else, the goal is to be like lo-fi and like not sounding that cool and tight, but they always were just like, yeah, we're just gonna like always sound really good, like no matter what we're doing. So
true
yeah.
All
right,
but that's my number 8.
Nice. All right, number 7 time. Siete
time.
Siete time. All right, my number Siete is September 5th by Division. I don't know if you guys ever listened to this one. Stylizes.
I got really excited and thought that was the Divide album by Ed Sheeran.
No,
That too is
That
one
one-
of my favorite albums of the
that-
2010s.
yeah, I mean that one. Stay tuned for my honorable mentions. But no, this is a great R&B album. There's personally, I thought this was a really cool time for R&B. There was a lot of cool shit coming out in that kind of like post weekend type of era. This was OVO debut album, super good. The production, it's a duo, and the producer 1985 is just goes off on this album. It's really good. It's one of the hornier albums you'll listen to, but it's not horny in like a weird way. It's like an album like a lot of R&B from this era or eras beyond.
It is when I listen to it.
Oh, I mean, trust me, buddy. Trust me. I was in college when this came out, but this like a lot of
It was
the
really
R&B you listen
experimenting
to.
back then.
But the a lot of the R&B you listen to from like this era, like the lyrics are can get kind of weird and creepy, and this album really is as overtly sexual as it is. That never really gets creepy. It's all everything that happens is very consensual and cool here, and everybody's having a good time. But yeah, I mean, this guy just has an awesome voice. I'm totally blanking on the dude's name. This is the only album I've ever really got into from these guys. The producer is 1985 is his name. Absolutely worth a spin, if not just for the production. It's front to back, really well done. But the guy's got an awesome voice too. And who knows, you might just find yourself putting this on next time you're laying down some pipe. So, highly, either of you guys listen to this one at all?
No.
No, I know that album cover. I'm like, know the album, like, heard of it, but I don't think I've ever listened to it.
It's very good. You should give it a spin.
Okay, I will indeed.
Good ass R&B.
Hell yeah. Don't really have sex myself, but I'm sure there's
Yeah,
other
well,
environments I can
you know.
appreciate it. And
Next time you're jerking off on a Zoom call, put it on your cans.
hey, that's from the first part, dude. No one knows what you're talking about.
Oh, it's a callback.
to
If
the
they were
earlier
listening,
episode.
Callback.
what are they going to listen to the second
How we
part
get them
first?
invested in the first.
Some might.
Yeah, come on. We're going to get all kinds of emails. Oh, you want to plug? You want to plug the
Oh yeah.
Gmail?
The email. cadzoband@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. CADZOBAND at gmail.com.
At Gmail.
Send your list over.
Please
Yep.
don't send any weird stupid shit there, guys. Seriously. I have such
Yeah,
a busy
seriously.
schedule.
Yeah, it's got to be good.
If you clog it up with bullshit, I'm gonna be so angry. I want your top 15 albums and that's it. It better be well thought through.
Mm-hmm. And then I'd like 1,000
ours.
words on each album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have
Like
to
we're
know.
doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Feels like it.
All right, Julian.
Anyway,
Siete or 2.
Yes. Number 7 for me is a supergroup, actually. It's a band comprised of 2 other bands that I really like. And it's probably like number 2 or number 3 as far as like albums I listened to the most in the 2010s. Me and Will Rock also were like obsessed with this album, and I don't think we put it down for like a full year. It's just like post-punk, post-hardcore inspired, super fun, politically charged to a certain extent. Doesn't feel outdated though. It's more just like social than I guess it is political. Yeah, it's just a solid album. It's called Strangled Light by the band Less Art. And yeah, it's just a fantastic record from start to finish. It's like very rowdy, somewhat technical, pretty sad lyrics, and some of the songs get like pretty like discordant and weird, and it's just like a good mix of like thrice mathiness with like Kowloon Walled City augmented chord shit and like weird kind of like droney stuff. So yeah, it's like a very good album. And
Calling a band comprised of people from Thrice and Kowloon Walled City a supergroup, bit of a stretch.
Okay, my bad. It's a band comprised of dudes from other bands.
If only there was a word for that.
I'm just.
Yeah,
I'm
someone
just
should
hating.
really come up with a word for that.
Yeah, for
I
when
like
people
both of
from
those.
multiple bands,
It's like
kind
a
of
supergroup,
like
but it's not.
Well, I just thought
super.
bands had to be popular. The bands had to be popular to be a supergroup.
I think that you might not understand how popular Thrice actually is, but that's
No,
okay.
I know. I was
Yeah.
just trying to be hateful. You
Artists
know
in
I
the
like
Ambulance,
Thrice.
Colin.
Yeah. You know I
Sticks and
like Thrice,
Stones.
and you know I recently got into Kowloon Walled City when you told me about them.
Yes, and I
So,
do think
I'm
that
just-
it is a very
I'm just
good.
trying to, I'm bringing that classic Colin Hader energy to the pod.
I thought that was supposed to be.
It was a playful jest. And I'm
I thought
sorry,
that
you guys both took that the wrong
You
way.
were like the Ezra of this, and I'm like the Jake.
You're the Jake
I've
Long.
had like
what's his
I've
name?
had like
Jake?
six beers. I'm getting a little bit loose with my playfulness.
Bro,
I'm the
fearless
Seinfeld.
right now. I'm fully sober, so let me just take the reins.
I'm
here
on my
and
fifth
say,
beer.
Connor's not.
Thrice
You're not
is
Seinfeld.
popular.
Connor. Seinfeld kind of sucks on the pod.
You don't like Seinfeld?
He's kind of annoys the shit out of me all the time.
No. I can never tell the difference between Seinfeld and Nick. They're just the same.
They have
person
similar
in my head.
voices.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
sound kind of the same, to be honest, except Ezra.
Not true at all. Not true at all.
Yeah, Jake has such a low voice. So gravelly.
Maybe I'm just misremembering who's who.
Yeah. I don't know why we're listening to your thoughts on.
But yeah, Strangled Light, less art. There we go.
I'm
Colin,
sorry.
And the super group, the certified multi-platinum.
Yeah, they're like
Supergroup.
Audio Slave.
I went on a.
The
Mhm.
traveling
Boston?
Wilburys of the 2010s.
I went on a trip to Boston to see them at a club, and it was like maybe the best show I've ever been to in my life. It was like so much fun, and Jared was there, and Will Brock was there, and the dudes from Thrice were there. And
Wow, I would have loved an invite to that.
Yeah.
Probably would have had a more personal relationship with his band than I'm probably wouldn't be making snarky little jokes about it. If I got an invite, I was probably free that day. I actually remember what day that concert was. I was totally free. I was at home. Like, man, I wish I was in Boston.
well, you don't like anything that's cool, so you were probably too busy listening to a Noel Gallagher solo record that day.
Hey,
Liam
Colin,
Gallagher.
what's your number 7?
To prove how cool I am, I'll read my number 7. It's Angles by The Strokes. A super group.
The only
made
thing
up
that
of
I'm
people
surprised
from
is
the
that it,
Voids.
I was gonna say the only thing that surprised me is that it wasn't a Julian Casablanca solo album, because that was a trend that I was noticing here. There's a lot of solo work of bands that you really
People-
like.
Just Johnny Marr and Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty big percentage. Consider we've only talked about.
Yeah, considering we're only on number 7. This was my first Strokes album that I ever listened to. It came out in 2011. A friend of mine showed it to me, and it very much changed my world. And it's funny, like at the time, I remember going back and like learning who the Strokes were, and I was like, dang, I wish I was in the Strokes earlier. Like I feel like I missed the train. But now, like, Angles 2000, that still feels like an early Strokes record, especially the fact that they're still around today.
And that they're
I think a lot-
arguably like bigger now than they have been in a long time.
Yeah, true. There is a new renewed interest in the Strokes. I think this album is maybe a bit divisive amongst the fan base. I think a lot of people were kind of hating on this album. I've always loved it. When it came out, I definitely didn't know enough to be critical of music enough to not like it. So part of it is the nostalgia thing for me that I was always into it. But I do think it's an amazing album. The Strokes kind of getting a little bit more technical with their playing. I've heard it was all recorded totally like disjointed, like none of them were ever in the same room at the same time recording this, and they all kind of hated it as it was coming together, and it just didn't feel right to any of them. But I think the end product is something that's very unique and amazing. There's some great guitar playing. I feel like Albert Hammond Jr. and Nick Valencia reached a new level of like guitar harmonies, playing guitar with each other on this, and it's just very playful guitar wise, and fantastic album. Angles by the Strokes. Cool album artwork too, if you're not familiar.
Cool. Stroking it.
Either of you guys know this album?
I know the song Machu Picchu. That's on this album, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
About the extent of how I know this album. But I do like the Strokes, so should give it
a listen. Yeah.
Give it a rip. All right.
All right. Well, we're almost into top 5 territory.
Almost. After this one.
We're number 6. So Connor,
number 6. Numero 6. This one I didn't get to do right when it came out. It took me a couple years. It was also one that I had tried to get into, and then I started just kind of putting it on in the background, and then it kind of clicked for me. It was also in my early days of getting into electronic music. But one of my favorite albums of all time to this day, In Color, Jamie XX.
Nice.
Yeah, just from the first song, Gosh, is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's so sick. The slow build and then like the crazy synths that come in for like the last 2 minutes never felt like that. What's that? That's the song that made it sound finally click for me, and then I was like, oh my god, wait. And then from then on, yeah, it's just front to back, such a good vibey album with just, he's another guy who I would consider just to be a genius of a producer, and he's obviously the XX is sick, but this is like him getting back into his like more of his ravey beginnings, but it's still a very chill album. But it's another one of those where, yeah, you can put it on the background, or the deeper you listen to it, the more kind of new textures and kind of grooves you find. It is really front to back, just quite an accomplishment, I think. And maybe it's definitely one of my most listened to albums of the 2010s, for sure, as well. One of the first albums I ever bought on vinyl when I got a record player. And yeah, just, never gets old.
So were you an XX guy ever?
I think, I am now for sure. I like the XX. Yeah. I think like I knew the big ones because like especially like that song Intro, like was in a lot of ski and snowboard
everywhere.
Movies. Yeah. True. And then, but I don't think I got really into that album, that debut album, until I got into Jamie XX, and then kind of was one of those where after knowing like what an insane producer Jamie XX is, and then going back and listening to the debut XX album with like that awareness and like oh, I'm gonna listen to production a little bit more, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he was also going off production wise on this album. So now, yeah, I love that album now. But I think that it's an interesting question, but I'm pretty sure that I got it In Color before I really got into XX.
Yeah. I remember I was associated XX, like I liked all their songs, but I was like kind of too afraid to get into them because I was like, oh, isn't this kind of like a 1975 style band to get into? Like, is it a little bit like too much on like the like Urban Outfitters tip of indie bands to really like? But they were a great band, and yeah, the fact that Jamie XX so talented, I feel like gives the VXX a little bit more.
It validates
of a cool
bit.
factor. Yeah, definitely validated.
I don't know what it was or like why we did it, because I never like heard my parents really talk about the XX before this, but we randomly watched like a live stream of like one of their festival sets. I want to say it was like Coachella or something. Like back when that was
Recently?
still No, it was like
Oh,
back when it
back.
was still a pretty new thing to do.
Hmm.
Like when they were still like kind of testing the waters on like stream. It might not have even been streamed, to be honest. It might have just been like a video that
The
got
recording.
uploaded by Coachella. Yeah.
So your dad is your dad into the
but-
XX?
Well, so I guess so. It was like both my parents liked the XX, but we never really like listened to him or talked about him too much. But I remember watching that set and being like kind of blown away by the amount of technicality behind what is like seemingly just simple pop songs. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were doing a lot of in the moment like live sampling and analog plugging and playing, which is not easy to pull off when you're like doing like synth and sample based stuff next to like a live musician who's just playing in real time. But yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah,
cool.
That first XX album, if you want to fucking hear some really nice bass lines, that album has them throughout. It's just it's a lot simpler than the production on In Color, but it's a really nicely done, very tasteful production. I think it's aged well, probably better than people
Yeah.
would have thought it was going to at that time.
I need to revisit. But yeah, In Color, Jamie XX.
It's definitely an easy
All-time
listen
urban
to.
album. Yeah.
Yes.
Another one
Cool.
I've been throwing on a lot as of late. I kind of associate that album with Against All Logic because we had talked about maybe that album was at the record store too when we were going through, and it kind of
There was a lot of good
inspired me to
shit.
go
It was like
revisit
that random selection
Jamie
of records
XX.
in the middle of that
yeah
shopping center thing.
Stanley. Mm-hmm.
There's some good shit in there though.
Most def. Julian, you're number 6.
All right. Number 6 for me, this is the album that like started all of this for me, because this album I mentioned being like very formative to me. I think maybe on a podcast, if not just in passing to Colin. And Colin was like, "What the fuck? Like, you like that album?" And I was just kind of like, "Yeah, it's like the one album that I actually like by this band." And it spurred the thought process of like what albums from the 2010s were like super formative to us that the other people might not like necessarily know about, because we just like never really talked about it in the grand scheme of the music dialogue that we've had over the years on the podcast and off the podcast. So yeah, the album is I'm With You by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
This album like
Mm.
got me not only into the Red Hot Chili Peppers for the first time, but it also, I want to say, was pretty much the first instance of, kind of like I mentioned earlier, realizing that like groove and feel is in a lot of ways more important and goes a lot further than musical technicality and like showiness within songs. So yeah, it kind of like made me simultaneously realize that Red Hot Chili Peppers actually have talent, and that also there is a unique feeling in records that you can only gain from a group of very talented and experienced musicians playing together for a long time and like kind of knowing what the other people are going to do in the project, if that makes sense. So yeah, it definitely like changed the way I thought about like modern music, and it also made me begin to have an appreciation for more like world music inspired stuff, because it's definitely a very world music inspired album. And it sounds so good. I think it has probably like one of my favorite snare tones of all time. And
The drums throughout the whole thing are so fucking good.
yeah, all the drums are incredible, and the bass playing, obviously like Flea's bass is incredible, and he like gets his flowers all the time, but this album is what made me realize that like Flea's actually like a legit musical genius, and he wrote a lot of the songs on this album because it was like the first record that they did after what's his face left and Josh Klinghoffer came in.
John Frusciante.
Frusciante.
Frusciante, yeah. So and I guess I just like never really clicked with any of the music that Frusciante like wrote, but for some reason like the stuff that Flea and Klinghoffer wrote together is like a lot closer to stuff that I tend to like. And so yeah, the record just like means a lot to me. It's again, like I've said this about a lot of these albums, but it's just a record that I listen to a lot with my friends, and like just because of that, I like have like a fondness for it, and it brought me closer to not only my homies, but also brought me closer to like a true understanding of like what makes good shit truly good. So
I had totally blanked this record out of my memory, and then we talked about it on the pod, several months back, and it's been in constant rotation since. It's such a good fucking album. I can't believe how good it is, and it does make you question everything you think you know about the Chili's, the Peps.
Right. Because it's like, how did they get it right?
Chili Peps.
Once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
How
you
did they
were
get
like,
it so right?
I know. I remember you said like, were you guys capable of this the whole time? You just sound like, and but yeah, super well produced. Has some great songs on it. Yeah.
For me, it's like a true no skip album. Like I can listen to it from start to finish, and every song on it is like really encapsulating in its own way, and like really like again part of like a larger story. Like it's the only time I think that Anthony Kiedis can like successfully kind of weave a narrative together through a record. So
True. Yeah, first time they're like fully coherent lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to hear my number 6 or even care about me anymore?
I think Connor's texting.
Yeah, should we just go right to me?
He's jorking.
Yeah, let's just go right to
Jorking my
Connor.
penis. I would never
just want to
text.
say mine at least. He
No,
never. He respects the pod way too much for that.
I wouldn't do anything like that. I'm doing something else.
All right, my number 6 is "Evil Friends" by Portugal the Man.
Okay. I knew there was going to be something.
What
There's
do you
always
mean?
fucking something with you.
I
Yeah.
knew there was going to be
Fuck's
some
that supposed to
bullshit.
be, Julian?
I knew there was going to be some bullshit with you, bro.
Some shit.
What was that? It's a super good fucking album.
No, I knew there was
Produced by
going to be
Danger Mouse.
Portugal the Man on here.
Well, yeah, this is Portugal the Man. It's Evil Friends. I love this album. This is the first Portugal the Man album I got really into, and Portugal the Man quickly became my favorite band afterwards for a good year, I'd say. Really, they've always been top 5 since this, and yeah, super cool album. They really were just in their bag on this one. Like I think they had been building towards something for a couple album cycles, and they just fully realized their potential with Evil Friends, and super cool. I saw them live around this time. Saw them tour this album, and seeing them live changed my life. They're just such a cool live band to see. John Gorley, I think, is a great front man. The lyrics on it are super interesting. Very cool production. Like I said, Danger Mouse was one of the producers on it. Can really feel his influence. And I love Evil Friends by Portugal the Man.
Great pick.
Thank you.
You ever heard that song, Feel It Still by Portugal the Man?
I've been meaning to
happened
check that
so
one
long.
out. I've been
It's a
meaning to
deep
check
cut.
that one out.
It's a deep
Yeah.
cut of there.
I've
Only-
just been listening to Evil Friends for the last 13 years and haven't gotten to the newer stuff, but I've been hearing good things about that one.
Only real P, TM fans know that joint.
Yeah. It's actually P period TM.
I did?
Yep.
Portugal.
Period.
Period. The
The
man.
man.
Well, that's
TM.
Portugal's not a complete
No.
sentence, so.
Well, that's why it's
Doesn't make any
artistic.
sense. Little too artistic for me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
As soon as I saw that period, I said, "No, thank you, Buckaroo."
With this.
Yeah.
No, good pick, Colin. I need to listen to more Portugal the Man because I know you guys really like him.
I think I
I-
could see you getting into them, I think it helps to know too that they used to be in a hardcore band called Anatomy of a Ghost.
Hmm.
John Gorley
I
and the
did know
bass
that.
player Zach Crothers were hardcore kids.
Old Man
And,
Crothers.
That's what they call him.
Oh, it's Old Man Crothers.
Old
from the
Man
old,
Crothers.
from the old
What are you
Soft
doing
Factory.
here, you old
Oh,
grump?
man.
I would have gotten away with it too. Cool.
For you meddling kids.
I
Top
have
five.
a tie. I have a tie for 4. Top 5. Top 5. I have a tie for 4th.
I think that's allowed. Yeah, pick one.
Are we on number 5 though?
we're
Yeah,
on number
but
5.
but it goes from T4 straight to 6, right? Because I still only have 15 albums. So I did like a golf tournament scoring system where like if there's 5 guys,
Fair.
5
I like
percent,
that.
and the next
I
guy
like
is
that.
yeah. I didn't want to cheat, so I didn't cheat. Kind of. So do you want to hear my T4 now, or do you want to skip me and then go hit me at 4? Hit me in.
Let's hit you at 4.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
skip you because that
All right.
actually makes me pretty upset.
I need some time to process
You
this.
can't just do that shit, man.
We didn't fucking. At least I had the right
Really
number of
didn't spend enough
albums.
time in the rules
You
portion
could have
of this podcast.
said this is my number 5, but 5 and 4 are very close.
Obviously,
Well,
if
you
I could have
didn't do that.
decided, I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide. The two are. I'll explain, and you guys are gonna feel dumb.
I don't think you
I
have that
almost
level
never
of
feel
precision in
dumb,
what you
so-
like, where it could be a true, absolute 100% tie.
Colin's a mean drunk. I hope Julia's out with her friends tonight because I can't even imagine after this Zoom call the kind of
She's in
cutting
her
remarks.
office looking disappointed every time I walk out there that the pod is still going
What is
on.
still going on?
Well, did you tell her we're already at the top 5?
Go let her know real
Jakes,
quick.
we're in the top 5. I'm almost done.
Yeah, should only be another 45 to an hour and a half.
Yeah. You can watch TV. That's not why I was saying that.
No, she can't.
Yeah, she should probably be here for this. This is
She
the story.
sit in silence. Sit and wait.
Okay, Connor. So we're skipping you, and you'll do your tie.
Yeah.
Okay, Julian, you're 5.
All right. My number 5 is The King of Limbs by Radiohead. And I think it's probably my favorite Radiohead album of all time, if not second favorite Radiohead album of all time. It's probably not the best Radiohead album, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think it's bad. A lot of people think that it's their worst album besides maybe Pablo Honey. But this album got me into Radiohead in a lot of ways that other Radiohead just simply didn't. I can't really explain why. I think it was just what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. And it kicked off a kind of multi-year obsession with Radiohead, just consuming all their live concert footage, reading through set lists, listening to B-sides, just doing the whole fully fledged fanboy thing where they were just my favorite, and I could not get enough of them for pretty much all the 2010s. And it's pretty much all because of this album. I just thought it was perfect, and I didn't think anything else existed that was like it before or really after. No one's really done anything that sounds like King of Limbs, and that's probably for the best because not a lot of people liked it, like I mentioned. But I think the people that like it understand how special the vibe is on that album and how unique of a listen it really is. And I really think it was Radiohead at their most fearless. They obviously had a lot of times where they kind of just threw everything out the window and didn't really give a shit about how they were perceived. But I think this was the peak of that, where they were just truly willing to try anything. And it's a mix of so many different styles of music that it's hard to even call it one single thing as far as a genre. But yeah, it's just such a good album, and it's probably one of the most like me defining albums that's out there. Like I think pretty much everyone that knows me on like a deeper level knows that King of Limbs is like one of my like most passionate album project thingies of all time. Just I can never get enough of it. So yeah, there it is.
I certainly did
What?
know that.
You
About
what?
you.
Oh.
Really
I-
liked this album.
Yeah,
The thing you just said.
I kind of forgot what I just said, so I needed you to confirm.
My number 5.
I didn't know, and I didn't really care.
Yeah, you don't know me or want to know me, so I think that makes perfect sense.
Connor still doesn't like Radiohead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if that
I
was ever
mean-
going to happen,
Yeah.
boys.
I think, to be honest, I like Radiohead a lot less now than I ever have, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty much done really
Really?
trying to like them or defend them, but
I
I
still love
still-
Radiohead.
I think it's just I spend so much time really trying to like advocate for them, just like prove to the world that they're good, and I just feel like that was like tied to the old me that like cared what other people thought about stuff that I liked, and now I kind of just like don't really care anymore, and I feel like Radiohead was so present in my life for so long that now it's just like it's just a thing that's there that I don't really like think about or spend time like focusing on anymore, because it's just always so like it's always there, it's never changing anymore. Like I've been through it so many times that it's not like special or unpredictable anymore, which is really sad, but yeah, I just like never go back to it now. So
Interesting. I go back often. I've never felt the need to defend Radiohead either. To people who don't get it, like Connor, I just let it be.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I wasn't capable of doing that like as a kid. Like
Yeah.
when I was like a young teenager and like a preteen, and even like probably all the way up to like early adulthood, I really like it really mattered to me that like other people knew that like the stuff I liked was like good stuff, not
Was
just because I liked it,
objectively good.
but just because it was like underappreciated. And now I feel like Radiohead is again having like a
Radiohead.
cultural moment where they're so back in the zeitgeist that no one needs to explain like what they mean to people anymore. So yeah.
Has Radiohead ever not been one of the biggest bands in the world since, OK Computer?
Well, I think that it was just one of those things where because they stopped making music for so long, people kind of just eventually stopped talking about them as much as they used to. Like, because after A Moonshaped Pool, there was a solid couple years where it was just like so much chatter about wondering when the next Radiohead is, or if they're done, or like what the fuck's going on. And after like a couple years of that chatter, people just kind of like forgot about it and like assumed that Radiohead was like done forever, and then they like played their shows, so now people are all like hyped again. But I also do think there was a time where like I mean it could have all just been irony too, because the internet is like super ironic and it's sometimes hard to tell like what's ironic and what's not, but it seemed like there was a brief moment from like 2017 to 2019 where like Radiohead seemed like kind of cringy in the zeitgeist, and like people would like make fun of Radiohead fans a lot, and like make fun of Radiohead music a lot as just being like super sad and singular and like depressing, but like it was always super like revered among like critics and people that obviously like always liked Radiohead. I don't think it ever like went away there, but I do think that it got like less hyped for a bit, and now it's getting like back up to the point where everyone's like super on board the Radiohead train again.
I hear you. My number 5. I'm a little nervous to say this one. AM by Arctic Monkeys.
I thought about it.
This was I don't maybe the most like I ever felt like I'm witnessing an all-time great album in real time and like fully taking it in. I saw Arctic Monkeys on the tour at Red Rocks. It's the only time I've ever seen people have like Beatles mania like reactions in real life. Like when Alex Turner came out, girls were like, passing out around me. And it just felt like something huge, and it was a defining album. And I don't really like listening to it anymore. Basically, whenever any song from AM comes up on shuffle, I skip it. But there was no getting around the fact that in the 2010s, this was a huge, huge album for me. And I don't know, whatever like that particular brand of indie rock was, I think it kind of started with the Strokes and worked its way up to the Arctic Monkeys. I think this was, the full realization of it, and it like reached the pinnacle of everything it could be. And since AM, it's just kind of been like that was the beginning of the end for everything. But man, what a crazy time. Every love it or hate it, you gotta admit, every single song on it, at what was a hit. People knew the lyrics to every song. If you don't like the album, you don't like the album. But if you like it, there are no skips, and it's just incredible all the way through.
Did Josh Homme do production on this album?
Josh Homme wasn't on this one. He did Crying Lightning. He might have been involved in some ways, but I don't think he produced the whole album. But he definitely did. Or not, Crying Lightning was a song. What's the name of that album?
Is it Suck It and See?
Yeah, Suck It and See.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know he did one of them.
But I don't think Josh Homme did AM.
The guitar on this album is definitely a little Queens of the Stone Age at some points.
Yeah, for sure. And
I love this album. I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I don't really ever listen to it anymore, but it's a great album.
Julian, you never liked it, right?
I don't think so. Like there was times where I fucked with like parts of the songs, like certain songs had moments that I thought were cool. I just, for some reason, by the time even AM came out, I was just already done with it. Like, it was probably mostly just fueled by like jealousy, honestly, of like how much girls liked Alex Turner.
You wanted to be Alex Turner.
But no, I just never understood. And also it was a superiority complex thing of like, out of all of the like guitar rock that could be getting popular, it's this, like, why is this the record that everyone likes? Because it got really popular really quick.
Yeah,
and it had a huge moment.
This was like, the number one, like I was saying earlier, American Apparel, Urban Outfitters thing,
and it's still you hear it like so many places, like it's on grocery store like radios and corporate radios and stuff. But I don't know, never loved it. I definitely don't like hate it. Like I fucking hate Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Like I think that album is a piece of hot garbage. I don't think AM's like hot garbage, but I just never really connected to it.
I like Tranquility Base. I hate the car.
The car is worse than garbage. It's trash.
Because like Tranquility Base was like, all right, at least they're trying something new. Like there's moments on it that are out there that are good. And but then when they did the car, I'm like, you guys are just fucking doing it again, and it didn't get any better. What are we doing here?
Like half as much energy somehow.
Yeah, but with AM, like you were saying, like you're like, if all the guitar music this got popular, I had similar reaction but different. I had the thing where I just wanted to tell everybody that I had been into the Arctic Monkeys for a long time.
I liked them first.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the most like I liked them first. Like I've been into them like since fucking Favorite Worst Nightmare. But
I listened to the debut.
Yeah, I was there in Cardiff in fucking 2004. But yeah, AM.
Cool.
All right.
All
So
right,
Connor,
are you ready for my tie
your
for 4?
tie. Yeah.
All right. My tie for 4. They're the same band. That's why it was so hard for me. 2 albums from the
Okay. I
same
like that.
band that came out not super far apart from each other. And you said you thought you knew who I had 2 albums from the same band, Colin. I think I know who you were going to guess. I don't think that's who it is. But these 2 albums were, just very formative for me, both when they came out. I was, especially the first one, I was obsessed with it. And then the second one, same deal. They just spoke to me. So I was just like a depressed college kid, and they spoke to me so hard in a lot of ways. And I don't know, so I just fell off a little bit in my book, but I still love these albums so much. And that is Teens of Denial, Car
Oh,
Seat
wow.
Headrest, and Twin Fantasy by Car Seat Headrest. Just 2 of like probably, well, definitely in my opinion, like the 2 best indie rock albums of the 2010s, like true indie rock. Both came out on Matador. Just like a cool, like it felt familiar when it came out, but still felt new. And like the deeper you go on this, like, and you get more into the lyrics, like there's like some really funny and good lyrics on this. I love that they could do like a straightforward, like 3-minute kind of pop rock, pop punk type song, and then they'll do like a 13-minute like jam out breakdown song. But both of these albums are basically no skips, front to back, just really well written, which kind of makes sense because both of these albums were written over kind of a long period of time. Twin Fantasy is a remake of an album he came out with years before, but he had been basically putting shit out on Bandcamp for like years, and then it all kind of came together with Teens of Denial, and then Twin Fantasy was the follow up. But yeah, these are 2 I've loved both of these since basically the day they came out, and have never really gone down in my book at all. So, but I just associate the 2 so much, and since they both come out, I've just never been able to pick one that I like more than the other. There's never been a point
That
where
makes-
I knew which
that
one I
makes
liked
sense.
more. So this was just the one I couldn't do it now. Never been able to do it, so I couldn't do it now. So put
I
them both
keep
on
bringing
there.
up your
I-
trip in December, but I guess that was a heavy 2010s visit that we had because
Oh yeah,
you
I was
also
playing Car
brought
Seat
up-
Headrest too.
you were playing Car Seat Headrest, and at that time I because I listened to a lot of Car Seat Headrest in the 2010s.
Yeah.
I think what I said is like I always had trouble like getting fully into them, and like I don't know, parts of Car Seat Headrest annoyed me, but we listened to Teens of Denial, and I added it to my library then, and there's been a few times where I've gone back since then and listened to Teens of Denial, and it's a great album for sure. I'm
Yeah.
like definitely much more receptive to Car Seat Headrest now.
That'd be like Destroyed by Hippie Powers is so good.
Yeah,
Drunk Drivers,
is.
Killer Whales is so good.
It's an anthem, and then like fill in the blank. It's like that's like
Yeah,
anthemic too.
That one, I remember being like, that was like, not to get too deep, but like when that album came out, I played hockey my whole life. I played hockey freshman year in college, and then basically my career ended because I got too many concussions. And I was like, that's when I started kind of realizing I had depression and getting like diagnosed with depression, and I had some like really bad post-concussion shit going on. So I was like pretty depressed in this time of my life, but also like going to school in Boulder and like trying to have fun and shit. And that first song on that album, Teens of Denial, like summed up depression for me in a way that like no one had before. Where like the hook of that song, where he's like, "You have no right to be depressed. You haven't tried hard enough to like it. Haven't seen enough of this world, but it hurt." And it's like, that's how. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like that's what. So, yeah, that song's like got me locked into the whole album. And yeah, it is. It's definitely just an album like a dude who's depressed and he's gay and he's just trying to grapple with all of that that's happening and having, it comes off, I think some people find the music kind of whiny, but it hit me at a point where it was really striking a chord with like my mental health, and like he was summing it up. But like the songs are fucking catchy too, and some of like they rip, and So even if you don't relate to all the lyrics, like they're good songs with good like strong hooks, and Twin Fantasy, like not to I don't want to not give Twin Fantasy his credit either because it has some incredible songs on it and some really cool production and music on it as well. So I don't know. I'm a big fan. Do you like Car Seat Headrest, Julian?
I do, yeah. I think they're really good.
Nice.
And a little bit of an omission from my list, but mostly just because I didn't really like them in the 2010s as much. I found them in like 2019, pretty much, like
Cool.
when I started listening to less douchey shit, basically.
Nice. Yeah, some people, I feel like they're one of those bands where like a lot of people kind of didn't, they had some haters when they came out. And I was just like, why? Not even like they're, and then, yeah, their later, everything after Twin Fantasy, they never really kind of hit that high point again, but incredible 2-album run.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
cool.
All right. Number 4 for you, Julian.
So number 4 for me, another band that I like grew up really liking, and they were always just on a continuous upward for me. And this was like their first album after a lineup change where they got rid of their like original drummer and got a new drummer, and I feel like it really just like solidified them as being like a great band because their earlier stuff was really good still, but always just kind of like missing something, and it was just because the drums were always like super boring and like there wasn't that much like rhythmic stuff happening ever. So this album like kind of reinvented their sound a little bit and put them on a trajectory to where now each of their albums is like again super different and explorative, and they're always just like trying new stuff. And I really think this album like just solidified like how great they are as a band that just like tries a lot of stuff and does a lot of different instrumentation. So the album is Little Fictions by the band Elbow, and I do think that for anyone who doesn't know Elbow and would maybe want to get into them, that this is probably the best album to start with. It's like so beautiful, and there's a lot of like full-blown orchestra string arrangements. The vocals are like pretty relatable in the grand scheme of Elbow lyrics because a lot of his stuff just like doesn't really make sense. It's pretty abstract, but this album's like a bit more direct. And yeah, it's just like a super excellent encapsulation of like what Elbow kind of represents as a band, in my opinion. And it's also from the year 2017, which all of the rest of my albums on this list are from the year 2017. I think 2017
Interesting.
could perhaps be my favorite year for musical releases of all time for my life. Like since I've been born.
Wow.
I'm not counting years where I
Yeah.
wasn't alive, but as far as years where I was alive, I think 2017 has the most heavy hitters per capita for me personally. So I just thought that was an interesting side note.
That is interesting. Never guessed 2017.
I know, super
But I
random.
guess my list is so like 2011 to 2013 focused, but I guess outside of that, like 2017, I have a few on there from. So yeah, it was a big year for music. Okay, my number 4, Tourist History by Two Door Cinema Club. This was huge for me back in the day. Again, around the time where I was identifying as a little indie hipster kid. Two Door Cinema Club was a big part of my identity. And then what really solidified this album is one of my favorites is the guitar playing of Sam Holiday. He just clicked with me super hard. Like a lot of what he was doing then was like the kind of guitar I was trying to play. He still, to this day, his guitar work on this album and then Beacon, the other second Two Door Cinema Club album, is some of my favorite guitar work of all time. And ton of, yeah, I think I don't listen to Two Door Cinema Club as much now, and in a lot of ways, like my view of them is a little bit depleted by like the fact that I do think they're responsible for influencing a lot of like just horrible and generic indie pop that would come out later in the 2010s. But there's no denying that the hits on Tourist History are just amazing songs and super hits. I loved their look at the time. Just thought they were a cool band and unique sound. And looking back at it now, like I said, like they're responsible for influencing like a lot of bad indie pop. I do think a lot of it is overproduced. I would love to hear more, stripped back versions of Two Door Cinema Club, but they were at, cutting edge at the time. Like they had a vision and they achieved it very, very well and inspired a lot of people that came after them. Were you guys into Two Door Cinema Club ever?
No, not really, but I know that you really like that album. And don't you have that one on vinyl too?
I don't have this one on vinyl. I should.
No.
Yeah.
Someone I know has that one. I always just
You're
thought,
thinking of Foo Fighters' greatest hits, Julia.
The greatest hits.
That's
Very
what
I
similar.
could never
Yeah.
forget about that one.
Yeah.
We spend that every time I come
It's
over.
You're probably thinking of my picture disc Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
That is what I was thinking of. Yep, that is my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's because the little raccoon guy, I thought he was into.
He does look like the singer from Two Door Cinema Club, Rocket Raccoon. Yeah.
Oh.
And both their names are Rocket Raccoon, actually.
Okay. Yeah, see, it's just doubly confusing. Almost feels like someone should do something about that, like a name change or. But anyway, I always heard them on the radio, and the reason why I never got super into them, I think, was just because, like what you just said, it's like too polished. It's like you could tell that they were very much trying to bring like rock guitar music or whatever you want to call it to like what was at the time the pop landscape, which was like super shiny, very overproduced, kind of predictable pop tracks that were like completely free of like human element to a certain like extent.
Yeah. And they were like presented as a trio, like lead guitar, rhythm guitar and vocalist, and then bass player. And so I think they programmed like most of the drums on the studio stuff. They would have a live drummer play with them live, who was an amazing drummer. But it's in hindsight, definitely like it's so easy to be like, man, this is too polished, this kind of sucks. But at the time, it was just like, wow, these guys are fucking like cutting edge. Like this sounds really good, and it's like super tight and
almost like kind of picked up where like the Killers left off in the 2000s to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But all right, so that puts us into top 3 territory.
Top 3 territory.
This is big
Top
time.
3.
TTT. My number 3, we have already talked about this man a good amount on this podcast. This album is, well, I guess it's not my favorite rap album of the 2010s, but it is very high up there. One of my favorite rap albums of all time. Shout out to this guy it is a double album, and this is one of the only double albums I've ever actually had to buy 2 separate fucking albums to get it, and neither of them were easy to find, but shout out to this guy for making do it. This is Summertime 06 by Vince Staples. We talked a lot about why we like Vince Staples already on this podcast, and this is the album that got me into him. And this, I went back. This is the one I've listened to it so much. When the Spotify most played songs of all times playlist, North was my number 1 song most played all time in Spotify history. I still think it's one of the greatest rap songs of all time. And it has not, I was looking at the other night, like it has like 200 million streams on Spotify. Like that's too low. Like it's such just a classic rap song in my opinion. But I've listened to this album so much, but I think it's the one I listened to the most when I was making this list again, probably because Vince dropped an album as well. So I've just been rotating it, but it's so good front to back. It just his lyrics, the way he's just so angsty. It's so dark, but at times it's so catchy. But then the songs that are kind of slower and vibier are still so good. The production's insane. The executive producer is No ID on this one, who's like a total OG. You got Clams Casino on that North North beat. Senorita is another song I got a shout out on this one. That's just an absolute banger with the Future sample on it. Let Me Know is a great song. And then like later in the album, like songs like Might Be Wrong. Might Be Wrong, I think is so good. It's got like a whole spoken word section, but the instrumental is incredible. But yeah, I mean, I could really go on for a long time about this album, but it is one of my favorite rap albums of all time. Vince Staples is one of my favorite musical artists of all time, and I did stick to my one artist. The one I would have put on here by him is Big Fish Theory, too. Like I think there was a moment where I had that as my one Vince Staples record on this list because of how like cutting edge I thought it was, but going back, Summertime '06. It's just a very special place in my heart. I think it's such an incredible album. And shout out doing the Joy Division tribute on the cover. And then the one Julian that I would say is my number 3 Vince Staples album is FM. And he does the Green Day, the Dookie tribute on that cover too.
Yeah.
So
I love that album too.
clearly he had a lot of that album rules too. But clearly his influences, a lot of outside of hip hop influences, but then it just, the way he just sums up kind of the state of living in the hood on this album, and he doesn't glorify it. It's never really sounds fun, but it is hard, and some of the songs do bang and are very re-listenable. And then also just the music videos. If you look up the music video for any song on this album, they're all really, really well done and really good. Senorita is a really cool video. North North has a really cool video. So he's just very clearly aware of his aesthetic and his sound, and everything sounds good and is artistically like well done, and there's a good aesthetic to everything he does. But yeah, Summertime '06, great fucking album.
Hell yeah. I guess I never realized that was his debut.
It's his, I think, full-length debut. Yeah, he did a lot of mixtapes.
Yeah.
And he signed to Def Jam. The EP, he dropped an EP called Hell Can Wait on Def Jam before this, which is also very, very good. And then this was his Def Jam debut. And then the next album after this was Big Fish Theory. So he just like completely left her. But this was one where it just another shout out Pitchfork again. They gave this high score. I was like, who's this guy? I had known about him from because he was like early Odd Future. And then him and Tyler actually kind of hated each other for a while. So I knew who he was, but then this came out and it was getting all this praise, and then I just listened to it. It's just one of those, like, it was like nothing I'd ever heard. And has not fallen out of rotation since. It's been 10 years now, so, or 11, I think, 2015, I think. So
2015. Right on.
Shout out Vince. Give him his flowers.
Yeah, big shout out. I feel like as far as alternative, whatever you want to call it, underground. I hate to use the term underground, but like alternative rap from the.
I mean, this album did come out on Def Jam, so you can't call it too underground.
Right. Exactly.
But I know what you mean.
And underground gets so instantly conflated with like all the really bad like white boy rap that exists now. That
another term that I hate that was big in this era and that people would have called this would be conscious rap.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that term either. But whatever you want to call it, I think
I know what you mean.
Consistently the best. Like Big Fish Theory. I think a lot of people who desire to make like alternative rap, they're still using Big Fish Theory as like the blueprint because it's just so fucking good. It's like produced perfectly, and the performance
Ar-
from start to finish is like perfect. So
R.I.P. Sophie.
R.I.P.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that, and it's funny because he literally did that once on Big Fish Theory, and he never did anything like that again.
Right.
And he
And
perfect, and people have been trying to chase that for 10 years.
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, my number 3 probably won't be a surprise to anybody. I'll keep it short. It's Boarding House Reach, Jack White. Definitely the record I listened to the most.
I was
in the
waiting for
2010s. It was all over my Spotify playlist. Basically, the whole record was just within the first 30 tracks because I listened to it constantly and used it as a blueprint for everything. Not only like how I wanted my music to sound and how I wanted my drumming to be, but also just like how I wanted my aesthetic to be, what I wanted other people to know about, and like it just consumed me and changed me. So I had to put it on the list. It's not number 1 though.
My top 3 are also boring. And for anyone who's listened to the pod, there's no
I
surprises
think
here.
my number 2 and number 1 are gonna surprise you.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, mine won't.
Maybe a little.
My number 3, Connor has it right behind his head. Contra, Vampire Weekend.
Excellent.
Came out in 2010.
I honestly wasn't sure if you were gonna go for Contra or if you're gonna go for Modern Vampires.
Well, Contra's my number 3.
Oh, he doubled up. I almost did that.
It was impossible not to.
It's so hard.
I mean, there's no. I'm sorry if we discussed that you couldn't double up on artists.
No, we never said that actually.
Okay.
No, we didn't. I think that was just goals we set for ourselves.
I was just being
Okay.
weirdly a douche for no reason.
No, I don't know if I would have been able to pick between. Well, I mean, obviously I would be able to pick, but like it feels wrong leaving Contra off of the list because it was really hugely important to me in the 2010s.
I'm not proud of myself for not having it on my list. Say that.
But yeah, I've talked about Contra enough. I've talked about Vampire Weekend enough on the pod. So let's jump right to Connor's number 2.
My number 2 is an album I'm not particularly proud of having on my list. And I didn't want to put this person on my list. I actually had a friend visiting recently, one of my good friends from Massachusetts, who we used to love listening to. I lived out there in like 2016 and 2017, which was a lot of good rap coming out. We used to listen to all this rap together. And I told him I didn't have this on here, and he was like, dude, come on. You got to have it on there. So he was right. I mean, this is the pinnacle. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's one of the best albums of all time. It's My Beautiful Dark
Okay.
Fantasy by Kanye West. Yeah, I mean, fuck Kanye West today. He's turned into a complete piece of human shit. But this album, I was so into Kanye in the 2010s. Good read, like his first 5-6 album run is incredible. But this album is just absolutely perfect. It is insane. It's just everything came together. Production is insane. There's crazy guest performances left and right. It's like so maximalist. Almost shouldn't even have worked, but it did, and it's incredible. And I just listened to it maybe more than anything this decade, so it just had to be on here. I could not have it on here. Really cool vinyl too. Triple album. You can swap out the artwork and the square. Interactive and fun. Yeah.
Interactive and fun. This should be on his marketing team. That's pretty good.
Well, a little late, but
yeah,
it's
going to take a pretty creative marketing team.
Yeah, wouldn't want to be on his PR team, but probably wouldn't want to be on his marketing team either. Yeah, that's my number 2.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
I'm not
one
surprised.
album where I can fully say I never got on board with it, and I get the most shit, I think, out of anything that I ever tell. Like, I tell people I don't like stuff all the time, and that's the one that gets the most like pushback, where people are like, "How could you possibly not like this album? Like, it's so formative."
Well,
Maybe even more than like, I don't know, any of the other shit we talked about earlier where we were like, it's universal. Like, every single fucking person I've ever
True,
met,
that
like,
might be the
fucking
most universal.
unequivocally loves that record.
well, Fantano, we gave it a 6 out of 10 in the early
That's pretty
Fantano
good for
days,
him.
and he's never lived it down. He's still, it's
Yeah.
still like, it's like to this day, people
I've-
comment, "Oh, but you gave him the DF of 6 out of 10."
I've seen that often on the "What's My Worst Take" videos that he does.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's just every
Yeah.
time. That's all people talk about is.
in the 2010s, kind of like what I say about Springsteen now, but it was a personality decision for me to not like Kanye. That was like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna be the contrarian dude. I'm not a Kanye guy, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy did get me then too. It is I think I was just so
Masterpiece.
pulled into like the zeitgeist too of it. Just like everyone around me was listening to it, and yeah, it's when I was doing research for this, and I was just looking at what other people ranked as their top 10 albums that came up on so many people's lists, and I think did you guys look at the Pitchfork top 250 of the 2010s?
Yeah.
I remember from when it came out, Blonde was their number one, right?
Blonde was their number one, but
But I also remember they gave
Twisted
this album
Fantasy,
10
I think,
when it
was
came
in
out.
the top 5, if not top 3.
It's a fucking crazy album.
It might be number 2 actually behind Blonde, if I remember correctly.
Probably is. Because they gave it a 10. They gave it a perfect 10 when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Julian, do number 2.
All right, so my number 2, and this band also had one hell of a run in 2017. They put out 5 albums in the year 2017, and it was also the year that
I know.
got
I
into
know
them.
who this is
I
going
already
to
know
be.
who it is. This is the year that I got into them, though, and like again, I discovered them on YouTube first, watching a KEXP session that they did, and was immediately like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" And I discovered this album like pretty much immediately after watching that KEXP. And it was at a time in my life, which this is all going to sound really entitled, so I apologize in advance, but it was at a time in my life when I just felt like no one...
When he felt like any women who smiled at him had to have sex with him.
Definitely. That was first and foremost.
That's what you felt entitled to.
Yep. Just getting free SECKS. But no, I think like what I really felt was just that like no one was really making stuff that I like wanted to hear. Like I wanted stuff that was just like polyrhythmic and felt super groovy and like mathy and proggy and like new but also inspired by like 70s prog, like all at the same time. And this band just happened to put out a record in 2017 that was like exactly that. And to this day, it's probably like I would put it in like my top 5 albums of all time. It's Polygon Wonderland by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. It is, in my opinion, the most perfect example of like polyrhythmic music like ever. Like it's better than any other really sort of polyrhythmic music that I've like ever listened to. It's so naturally polyrhythmic and groovy that you would like, I don't think ever notice it unless you like really sat down and like counted. And that was like my favorite thing to do back in the day, was just like listen to stuff and count and like see what time signatures everything was in. And it wasn't just me, it was like, again, all my friends were into stuff like that too. And so it was like a huge record for all of us, and just the fact that we could all share it with each other and felt like it was truly something that was ours, that like the rest of the world just didn't understand how truly genius this record was, like actually made it feel a lot more like special to us. And I know that like obviously the King Giz guys really like this record because they still like play it play songs from it fairly often at live shows, and there's always a lot of lore around this album too, because it has like a full-blown story that goes along with it that's like King Giz lore stuff, which I'm not as into that, but I do think they do a really good job of pulling it off on this album without it seeming like super nerdy or weird or like, culty. So it's just like probably the record that influenced my drumming and like musical reception like the most in the 2010s. Like it really genuinely like changed so much for me and unlocked so many doors for me after it came out. And yeah, I still like absolutely love King Giz to this day. Like they're one of my favorite bands, and it's pretty much all because this record like pulled me in so strong. So yeah, love it. Shout out to it. I don't think I've ever talked about it before this. So yeah, it's kind of like what this whole list was for.
You
Cool.
definitely have.
No, I don't think so.
We did a
It
whole.
was one of
King
the
Giz
other
episode.
86 King Gizzard albums.
Yeah, that's true. We could have talked about one of them. But no, great pick. Good stuff,
Yeah.
Julian. Very
Thanks,
good stuff.
man.
You think it's
Are
a
you
better
a King Giz fan,
polyrhythmic
Connor?
album than what?
Are you a King Giz fan at all?
No,
Dang.
one of those just too much.
Yeah,
too
that's
much.
fair.
I can't chew that off. But great polyrhythmic album is Remain in Light, Talking Heads.
Mhm.
I do
Most
like that
Def.
album. So, yep. Well, Most Def was rap.
No, true.
Mm-hmm.
I've been re-listening to. Are you
Rock on Both
talking
Sides?
heads?
Oh.
Talking Fed.
That's my favorite season.
And it's mine too. Yeah, but I
the David Wayne
recently
episode.
listened to David Wayne's so good.
I'm not gonna follow this gotcha journalism.
Gotcha journalism, yeah.
Just every time they ask him a question, this is just total just gotcha.
Yeah.
Great app.
It's so funny.
Great app.
Great up. All right, my number 2. In the Mountain in the Cloud by Portugal the Man.
Oh shit.
P period TM.
Yep, double PTM.
Period.
This album took over my life for a while in the 2010s, and I think it's one of the most slept on albums from that period. Like a lot of people, and not Portugal the Man's very big and stuff, but I think it's a perfect album. The sequencing on it is incredible. Truly no skips. There are some like just songs that I feel like should be like the song Sleep Forever. I feel like is a song every person in the world should know. And it's just an incredible record. It's one of the first albums I got on vinyl and just played it to death, continue to play it to death. And I had to put Evil Friends on there because that was, another huge album for me. Like I said, Portugal the Man was my favorite band for a long time, but it's really In the Mountain in the Cloud that did it for me, that made them my favorite band and got me obsessed with them. So yeah, are you guys familiar with this album at all?
Nope.
I am, baby.
I know Julian is.
I deep dived this shit like when I got obsessed with Shish, because this was also, and I think I might have told you this, so just stop me if I'm being annoying, but JJ was like super early to tell me about Portugal the Man back in the day. And this was the one he told me to start with, and I didn't like it really, but then Shish like made me finally understand why it's a good record. Like over 10 years later, I finally am just like, okay, no, this is unequivocally really good.
Yeah. It's just like the level of songwriting on it. It's like, I don't know. It like, I guess a lot of the songs when you listen to them, it's like, oh, these guys like discovered like classic rock songs that hadn't been written yet. Like songs that felt like they should always be out there. And that somehow weren't written until 2011.
Right.
Like
And in a
Jet-
time
like
when
Jet.
everything
Like Jet. Exactly.
at a time when
Well,
everything was
wait,
being, like,
wait till you hear what my number
controlled.
one album is, Connor.
You went,
I
you
broke
cheat,
the
you cheat
time
on the
barrier.
rules and go
I
and put it
cheated on
to
the rules. Yeah.
You get born by Jet. Nice.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
yeah, I don't know. I've talked about In the Mountain in the Cloud before, so I won't keep. But I highly encourage everyone listening to this. I encourage you, Connor, to go and listen to In the Mountain in the Cloud all the way through, and see if I dare for it to not hit you somewhere deep emotionally.
All
There's
right.
just some great songs on it.
Challenge accepted. If
Good.
it doesn't
Know what you
strike me
think.
emotionally, you owe me $1 million.
It's a risky bet, but I'll take it.
All
Fair
right.
bet. Let's do it.
Number one.
Number one.
I think anybody here who knows me knows what my number one is going to be, and I've
Yeah.
definitely talked about it on this podcast. And it is Modern Vampires by Vampy Weeks. What else is there to say? It's just so good. It's incredible. It's the peak of Vampire Weekend, peak of Rostam's production. It's got some of my favorite songs ever on it, and it rules. And I'll never stop loving it.
Oh, did you listen to the new Rostam album, American Stories?
No, I didn't. Is it good?
Yeah, I like it. Not my favorite of the Rostam solo stuff, but pretty solid record.
Cool. There's a song. It's not a Rostam song, but it's featuring Rostam. That's always heavy in my rotation. That I definitely heard on Time Crisis by who is it? Oh, Rah Rah Riot.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
song, The Water. That song featuring Rostam, and there's another song on that album featuring Rostam. They're both really good. But
Did you like that? This is appropriate because this was big on alternative radio in the 2010s, later 2010s. That Hamilton Lighthouser.
Yes. Oh my god, I love that album. I have that on my. I have that on vinyl too, with the one with Rostam. Yeah. That's probably my favorite. Like, I guess it's not solo, but non-Vampire Weekend Rostam album is that one.
Yeah. I was close to putting
good.
that one on my HMs because when that came
honestly,
out,
going back, I should have put it on my HMs because I love that album a lot.
Well, I had a Sirius XM radio at the time. I was always listening to whatever that indie station was on Sirius XM, and they just played like that album to death, and so I would just listen to it a ton. But I always dug it, and
it's a good album.
Yeah, it should be on the HMs. Honestly, it is a good album.
I honestly forgot about the honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm. That might have to be a different episode.
I'm losing steam a little bit here.
I know, me too. This is intense.
We're at 340 right now.
This is now starting to become full-time job territory. Like, I'm gonna need a paid 10-minute break.
We've clocked a half a shift. Yeah, I'm in California. You guys are about to go into meal penalty.
Oh yeah. Well, in Colorado, we don't need a meal break till we hit 5 hours, so we're good there.
Well, I'm in California, so
I'm literally gonna go right to bed after this.
I'm gonna stay up until like 3 a.m, to be honest.
Me too, probably.
No, I do have a lot of music to listen to now that I wanna. So that's probably what I'll do after this. Okay. Anyways, Julian, you're number one.
Okay, my number one is, I think, my favorite indie music album of all time. I think that it is the best indie music album of all time by far. I think it sounds the best. I think it is the most explorative. I think it is probably the most influential in kind of a weird way that won't be necessarily like seeable for a while, but I think that it'll just be one of those albums that like years from now people are using it as like a reference for stuff, the same way that we like reference the Beatles now. And they're never like going to be as culturally relevant as the Beatles, but I do think that they're musical prowess just stands so far above like everybody else. And that is the band Grizzly Bear and the album Painted Ruins. So this behind Boarding House Reach, Painted Ruins is what I listened to the most in the 2010s, and it came out in 2017. So I mean, all that listening was in basically 2.5, 3 years. It set the template for like what I think a band should be in a way that no other band has. They've been influential to me since I was a young child, but this album really was like the peak of everything they had been working towards all in one record. Like they kind of took everything they had done previously and combined it all onto one thing. It's super cohesive while also being kind of slightly all over the place. Like the songs make sense together, but they are all pretty different. I think it has the best like vocal harmonies of like maybe anything besides potentially like a Fleet Foxes record. And it is just like something that I constantly go back to for inspiration because it is like genuinely so inspiring every time I listen to it, and it never ever gets old. And I'm still hearing stuff like for the first time because it's just so dense and layered and like rich, but it sounds so good. And yeah, it is like an album that I will go for.
You really were you
like,
being
for
hyperbolic
my
with your
life.
intro? You really think that's the most important indie music?
For maybe not like for everyone, but for me, like
For you?
I don't really like people like in the indie scene have been like referencing like Fecatimist and like trying to like make basically
I was gonna
Fecatimist 2 like ever since it came out. And I think that with like the modern like production shift that's on Painted Ruins, people have been like trying to emulate that without even necessarily realizing that they're trying to emulate that like ever since Painted Ruins came out. I think
Interesting.
Grizzly Bear is like one of those bands where like a lot of artists that are like super prominent all always seem to like reference Grizzly Bear or Ed Drost or Daniel Rawson in like one way or another. Like so many people are influenced by them and like them that like you wouldn't even think, because they just like are never talked about really. Like they're never mentioned in the greater conversation, but so many people have like mentioned that they are influenced by them or that they like them. And I just think over time it'll shift to be like a really important like time stamp album for like indie music kind of changed after that record came out.
I like Vecatimist. I would almost say, and like Grizzly Bear at that time are kind of like the Kinks to use your Beatles analogy. I always thought of Grizzly Bear as like they'll be viewed as like the Kinks to someone else's Beatles. I don't know if like Vampire Weekend are the Beatles of that time. Years from now, people will look back and be like, man, Grizzly Bear was actually like on some shit. And like, sure, Vecatimist was well known and like, excuse me, a big album at the time, but maybe didn't get its flowers as
Well,
much as
I
it
guess I
deserved
was
to.
more
But
so referring to the Beatles
Painted
as far
Ruins
as
is
like production standards and like general like mentality and songwriting, I guess, if that makes sense. Like not necessarily cultural influence, more so just like the way that the Beatles influenced a whole generation of musicians to like go off and do things. Like I feel like Grizzly Bear like will be that band to like a whole generation of like indie kids who like came up in the 2010s who like put them at the top of the holy grail. Because in my opinion, like being someone who loves Vampire Weekend and Grizzly Bear, like I kind of view them in two separate eras in a way. And like Grizzly Bear is like especially Painted Ruins is like towards an era of indie music where everything was changing so much and like people were trying to incorporate so many different things and so many different textures in a way that like just hadn't necessarily been fully done before, and now everyone's trying to do it. And I really think Painted Ruins was like the first album that actually like pulled it off fully seamlessly.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to Painted Ruins. I don't think I've listened to the album since it came out. I definitely did not expect that to be your number one. So that is surprising.
Surprise.
Good pick. Mine could not be less surprising.
I think we already know what it is.
I'm not even gonna say what it is. You don't know what it is. You've never listened.
You're not
to
a real podcadzo.
Yeah.
1989.
That's the only album I think that, like, we shared artists, but no one really shared albums except for
Yep.
number
We had the
one.
same,
True.
which looking
Except
back, we
for-
probably could have guessed that. I mean, this is the one I just did not have to think much about. I mean, I thought about Contra,
exactly.
but I have already kind of made peace with that decision that this is my number one. So
No, it was the one album I was sure of. Modern Vampires is the album for me. Okay, well maybe we'll do another episode in the future that's the honorable mentions. So more 2010s.
yeah,
Mega
I'm
episode,
tired.
but I do not have the energy to do it right now. So
I
guys,
don't want to.
this was beautiful. Well, I think we'll always remember our nearly 4 hour
What a marathon!
ridiculous
What a-
podcast and marathon.
I thought we
I
might
actually
hit
literally
2
did
hours.
just run a marathon in less time than this. So
Whoa, okay.
I'm not
Sick brag. Sick
sorry,
brag.
I didn't mean to come off as a brag. What I'm saying.
I was gonna say we could have watched Godfather Part 2
Yeah,
and had 15 minutes to spare.
This is more productive.
true. More cultural value.
We all learned something.
It's definitely going to be more important than Godfather Part 2, this podcast.
Oh, definitely. Well, and I think this will be something like, everyone has seen the first one, but like real people who are really into film will be like the part 2 of the podcadzo top 2010s is actually the better one.
Better.
And then part 3, the Andy Garcia one where they go through the honorable mentions, that one kind of sucks, but you got to watch it to
Yeah.
just make it complete.
Yeah.
There's going to be some nepotism involved.
Yeah. It would be sweet to get Andy Garcia for that episode though. So
Well, you're the
First
producer,
celebrity
Colin.
guest.
You made it very clear that you're the only credited producer, so you should be the one to reach out to Andy Garcia.
that's more of a whatever Julian's job is on the podcast type role.
I want to ask him about Entourage.
Was Andy Garcia in Entourage?
Wasn't he the guy? Oh, I think I'm mixing him up with something else. No, you know what? He's in Ocean's 11 now.
He is. He's the casino owner.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad guy.
I was thinking of somebody else in Entourage.
Mm.
Also a bad guy who's Italian. So
easy mistake to make.
yep. Hey, good thing we're getting all our anti-Italia stuff out at the end.
Oh yeah. Well, there's plenty more where that came from on next week's podcadzo. Thanks everybody for listening. You guys have a lovely night. Rest
Have a
up.
blessed evening.
Good
Take
pod,
tomorrow
guys.
off of work if you can.
Yeah, call
I'd
us.
love
And,
to. I'd love to.
yeah. Okay. Love you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
It's podcadzo.